Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo Story. Now, Kashmiri Pandits who are in the valley in large numbers are leaving Kashmir and going to the safer places like Jammu. These are Kashmiri Pandit government employees who have been living in Kashmir for the last 1 decade or so in different colonies all across Kashmir Valley. Now, the backdrop to this is that there have been a spate of civilian killings, targeted civilian killings in Kashmir, targeting members of the minority community, and that has spread panic, forcing these Kashmiri Pandits to move out. We, in fact, spoke to many Kashmiri Pandits today at Budgam and at Mutton. They were clear that they don't want to be in Valley for now. With this atmosphere around, they would want to move out and then perhaps see what lies in store for the future. They'll say they will come back if situation normalizes, but for now, it's not possible for them to continue living in Kashmir in this atmosphere. To discuss more, we joined by Amit Raina, coordinator of the Minority Forum in Kashmir, and also Major General Dhruv Katoj, who is a director of India at India Foundation. Welcome to the show. If I can start with you, Amit Raina, we went to Budgam today to the Sheikhpura migrant colony. There we were told that 30% of Kashmiri Pandits have already left, and others are also planning to leave. The problem is that their children are in schools and they would want a suitable sort of an arrangement for that, and that's holding them back. Otherwise, they would have also left. What is the situation now? Uh, have all the Pandits decided to move out? Because what we saw in the last few days, there were protests happening at different places in the valley, but now they have rather stopped and they have finally reached to this conclusion that it's better to move out for now.
सर नमस्कार टू ऑल ऑफ यू।
Yeah.
सबसे पहले सर आप जो जिस लेट का बात कर रहे हैं कि हमें यहाँ से क्या कितने लोग यहाँ से निकले हैं, निकलना तो सब चाहते हैं, बिकॉज अभी हम अपने शैडो से भी डर रहे हैं। इतना कंडीशंस इतनी फियरफुल है कि हम घर से पहले निकलने से पहले 5 बारी 10 बारी सोचते हैं कि हम निकलेंगे तो क्या सुरक्षित वापस आ पाएंगे। तो जैसे कि आपने बोला कि 30%, लेकिन आपके आई थिंक फिगर्स थोड़े आपने थोड़ा कम करके बोले। 50 से अबव लोग
मॉर्निंग में ये मॉर्निंग की बात कर रहा हूँ। बडगाम में मॉर्निंग में बताया गया कि 30%, तो तब से तो काफी टाइम गुजर गया।
जी 3 बजे तक तो ऑलमोस्ट 50% से अबव लोग निकल गए हैं। अब जो नहीं निकला है उसका उनके कुछ रीजंस हैं कि उनके बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं यहाँ पे डिफरेंट स्कूल्स में, तो उनकी पढ़ाई वेस्ट ना हो, उनका ईयर वेस्ट ना हो, तो वो स्कूल से जाके कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं कि कैसे किया जाए। हम यहाँ वैली लीव करके जा रहे हैं तो आप इनको कैसे पढ़ाएंगे। जैसे कोरोना कॉल में जब हम ऑनलाइन क्लासेस ले रहे थे तो आप वैसा कर सकते हैं क्या। तो मैनेजमेंट ने, जो स्कूल के मैनेजमेंट्स हैं, उन्होंने हमें बोला कि हमें एक बारी आपस में मैनेजमेंट में बात करने दीजिए, तो हम आपके पास वापस आएंगे, आपको बताएंगे कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं आपके लिए।
तो फिलहाल जो है, जो इस तरह से काफी दिनों से प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा था, जैसे हमने देखा राहुल भट्ट के हत्या के बाद जिस तरह से प्रोटेस्ट का एक सिलसिला चल रहा था, वो एकदम से अब रुक गया था है, और अब ये फैसला हो गया पंडित, जो कश्मीरी पंडित है उनकी तरफ से, कि वो फिलहाल कश्मीर छोड़ देंगे। ये तो बात यहाँ तक तो बात सही है।
जी मैं इसमें एक ऐड ऑन करता हूँ, आपकी बात एकदम सही है, लेकिन इसमें मैं थोड़ा सा चेंज लाना चाहता हूँ। हमारा प्रोटेस्ट अभी रुका नहीं है, हम प्रोटेस्ट यहाँ पे खत्म कर रहे हैं बिकॉज यहाँ पे फियर सिक्योरिटीज है। हम जो भी माइग्रेट हो रहा है वो जाके जगती में प्रोटेस्ट चालू है, कंटिन्यू है, और वहां पे हम शिविर लगाएंगे और वहां पे जाके अपना धरना प्रदर्शन वहां पे कंटिन्यू करेंगे।
Okay, for the benefit of our viewers, Jagti is a township of Kashmiri Pandits on the outskirts of Jammu at Nagrota. Large number of Kashmiri Pandits live there. So what essentially is telling us that Kashmiri Pandits were moving out of the valley. They have not stopped their protest. They will be protesting at Jagti in Jammu, continuing with their demand. And the demand is that they be moved out of Kashmir to safer places like Jammu, where they can continue their job. That is what is clear now. Major General Dhruv Katoj, you're seeing a series of these killings taking place. Just yesterday, a bank manager was killed in the morning, then a laborer at a brick kiln was killed. So clearly, there is a coordinated effort to, to create a situation where all of them are driven out of Kashmir.
Oh, Zafar, yes, I think it's a very sad state of affairs. Very frankly, I don't think it is coordinated in that sense that we are going to coordinate in the sense that a particular type of individual will be killed. All that they have done is that in various localities across Kashmir, they have got information that, okay, the Kashmiri Hindus are living here, and here this particular Kashmiri Hindu lives in this particular house. Now, once they have got that information, then it is a very simple job for anybody to come and just kill. The killing is very random, but the purpose is very specific, and the purpose is to spread fear. Now, this is something which is going to be very difficult to stop immediately, but it has to be stopped. So obviously, the measures which have to be taken to stop it, they have to be very, very harsh. How the government will go about it, we will see within the next say few hours. We don't have the luxury of days now. I cannot say we'll see the next few days. That luxury is over. Now we have to look into hours. Okay, the next 2 hours or the next 3 hours, the action plan has to be put into place, because when a large number of government employees were taken back, the Kashmiri Hindus were taken back. They were taken back on the sense that there will be the normalcy settling in. I think this was carried out a bit too early, because they should have waited for another 6 months or 8 months to have ensured. Sometimes when we declare success too early, it backfires on us. And even now, when normalcy had started settling in, the voices had already started coming, let the army move out from here, reduce the presence of police forces. It doesn't work that way. You see, you have to eliminate it till the right, till the last man. And there are three particular players who are concerned in this. One is Pakistan, of course, and we need to look into specific measures how we deal with that country. The second are the terrorist groups themselves and their sympathizers within Pakistan. And the third is their support base within Kashmir. And this support base encompasses politicians. Now, I think it is very important to look into this support base now. And any politician or any local civilian giving support has to be treated as a terrorist, whether it is the Abdullah family or the Mufti family or somebody from the Hurriyat or anybody else, regardless of who that person is. Any truck with the terrorist has to be treated like a terrorist and responded to accordingly. Now, unless that deterrence comes in, I don't see any impact coming in. And to the terrorists too, there has to be a deterrence. Now, to the terrorists, I think there are only two deterrences can work, and I hope they start employing them immediately. The first deterrence is that if you are killed and if you are a terrorist fighting and you are killed, then your property will be confiscated and sold, and the proceeds given to the person whom you have killed. One. Number two, the body has to be disposed of. It has to be burnt. There's no question of a cremation, which is a Hindu custom, or a burial, which is a Muslim custom. It simply has to be burnt and disappear. That means nothing to be handed over to anybody. Now, that is something which can create a deterrence in the mind of a person. I don't want to go that path. These are harsh measures, yes, but we need harsh measures now. Zafarji.
Yes, Major General Dhruv Katoch, just a point that it's not only Kashmiri Pandits who were targeted. Yesterday, the two people who were killed were not Kashmiri Pandits. In fact, one of them was from Rajasthan and the other person was from Bihar. And also you raised this point that decisions have to be taken quick and fast. There is a meeting taking place in Delhi, or it must have already concluded, that is of the top security. It was a scheduled meeting basically, but yes, one would safely assume that this issue would have dominated that meeting. But I want to go across again to our Kashmiri Pandit guest. The point is that आपको लगता है कि आप एक तरह से आप जाना चाहते हैं यहाँ से, लेकिन आपको जाने नहीं दिया गया था पहले, जिस तरह से हमने देखा कि गेट बंद थे, अब तो खैर गेट खुल गए हैं जाने। क्यों ऐसा क्यों है? मतलब ये तो आपकी मर्जी होनी चाहिए ना, आप कब जाओगे, कब वापस आओगे। बेशक आप यहाँ पे नौकरी तो कर रहे हो, लेकिन आपकी ये तो आपकी मतलब मर्जी है कि आप यहाँ पे जो अगर आप सेफ नहीं फील कर रहे हो तो यू कैन सीक ए ट्रांसफर।
जी सर, जैसे आपने बताया कि हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया में एक फंडामेंटल राइट है कि राइट टू मूव। आप जहां पे आप जाना चाहते हैं आप जा सकते हैं, लेकिन पिछले 18 दिनों से हम यही देख पा रहे हैं कि हमारे जो जितने भी ट्रांसिट कैंपस है, जितने भी जगह है जहाँ पे हम प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, हमारे को वहां पे होस्टेज बना के रखा गया है, हमारे को बाहर नहीं निकलने दिया जा रहा है। हमने जैसे ही ये अपील की गवर्नमेंट से कि अगर आप हमारे लिए कोई सोल्यूशन लेके नहीं आ पाएंगे तो हम माइग्रेट कर जाएंगे। तो जैसे ही हमने वो बोला, वैसे ही आप पिक्चर्स में भी देख पा रहे हैं कि हमारे सामने जितने भी आर्मी फोर्सेस है उनको लाया गया, हमारे को हमारे गेट्स पे ताले लगाए गए, हमारे को होस्टेज बना के अंदर रखा गया और हमारे को अलाउ किया गया अपने कैंप से बाहर आने के लिए, जम्मू जाने के लिए।
अमित जी, मैंने आज देखा, आज तो खैर
जी
वहां पे दरवाजे खुले थे, कोई दरवाजे बंद नहीं थे, लेकिन ये भी हो सकता है कि वो इसलिए भी किया होगा कि फॉर योर ओन सिक्योरिटी, इफ यू मूव आउट एंड विदाउट सिक्योरिटी दैट माइट पुट यू इन मोर ट्रबल, सो देयर कुड बी अ स्ट्रेटजी बिहाइंड इट दैट टू होल्ड you back and to allow you move out at a proper time. That could be the strategy, and you perhaps think that you have been blocked, you have been stopped. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है, क्योंकि आज तो दरवाजे खुले थे, आज तो काफी लोग निकल गए और काफी लोग निकल रहे हैं, लेकिन बाय एंड लार्ज ऑन द होल आई टेक योर पॉइंट कि राहुल भट्ट के बाद जिस तरह से एक तरह से आप लगातार यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि यहाँ से आपको मूव करके जम्मू या बाकी इलाकों में भेजा जाए, लेकिन उसमें ये बताया जाता है कि जब आप पहले शुरू में आए हैं तो ये कंडीशन ही थी कि आप यहाँ पे आके सेटल डाउन हो जाओगे तो तब जाके आपको जॉब मिलेगी, तो ये प्रॉब्लम आ रही है।
सर, मैं इस पे रोशनी डालना चाहूंगा। मैं आपको थोड़ा
हाँ।
पीछे लेके जाता हूँ। ये हम इकोनॉमिक, ये जब शुरुआत हुई थी एक इकोनॉमिक पैकेज से हुई थी। जब हमारे जब तब के जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे मनमोहन सिंह जी, यूपीए के, तो उन्होंने ये इकोनॉमिक पैकेज घोषित किया गया था 2008 में। तो उसके बाद इसके साथ एक एड ऑन किया गया रिहेबिलिटेशन, और हमारे वादे किए गए कि आप पे जितने भी सर्विस रूल्स होंगे, सिविल सर्विस रूल्स होंगे जेएंडके के, वो आप पे एप्लीकेबल होंगे। आपको एट पर बाकी जितने भी एम्प्लॉयज स्टेट के हैं उनके जैसा माना जाएगा। सेकंड, आपको एकोमोडेशन दी जाएगी। लेकिन जब हम यहाँ पे आए तो जो इमेज थी उस पैकेज की वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट थी। हमें यहाँ पे एकोमोडेशन तो दी गई, लेकिन वो भी 10% लोगों को, और उसमें से भी वो जो एकोमोडेशन दी गई थी वो एस्बेस्टस शीट्स की थी, वो ब्रिक एंड मोर्टार की एकोमोडेशन नहीं थी। और उसमें से मेजॉरिटी जितने भी हम उस टाइम पे आए थे, लगभग 2000-2500 लोग आए थे 2010 में, तो उसमें से सिर्फ 10%, 20% लोगों को ही उनको अकोमोडेट किया गया, और उन 20% को भी शेयरिंग बेसिस पे अकोमोडेट किया गया। स्टिल आप देख सकते हैं, मटन आप गए हैं आज, मटन में भी आप देख रहे होंगे कि वहां पे शेयरिंग बेसिस पे अभी भी रह रहे हैं हमारे एम्प्लॉयज। तो ये तो एक उनका फेल्यूर था। सेकंड, जो सिविल सर्विस रूल्स जो हमारे पे एप्लीकेबल करने के लिए बोला गया था कि आप पे एप्लीकेबल होंगे, उसमें तो ट्रांसफर पॉलिसी हमारे पे कभी एप्लीकेबल हुई नहीं। आप तो वैली से बाहर छोड़ दीजिए, वैली के अंदर भी अगर कोई स्पाउस पोस्टिंग चाहता था वो भी हमारे पे कभी दी नहीं गई। उसके बाद अगर हम कहीं इनसिक्योर फील कर रहे थे, हम किसी अपने डीडीओ के पास जा रहे थे कि हम यहाँ पे इनसिक्योर फील करें, हमारे को कहीं दूसरी जगह, वो भी कभी भी वो एंटरटेन नहीं करते थे। सेकंड, थर्ड, हमारी प्रमोशन पॉलिसीज, हमें एट पार नहीं रखा गया, हमारे को सीनियरिटी लिस्ट से बाहर निकाल दिया गया। हमारी जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, जो हमारी जेएनके की ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, वो डायरेक्टली मुंह पे बोल देती है कि आप हमारे एम्प्लॉयज ही नहीं हो, आप पीएम पैकेज के हो, आप सुपर न्यूमररी पोस्ट हो, तो आपको कोई हक नहीं है, आप एक बॉर्डर्ड लेबर हो, आप बॉर्डर्ड लेबर की तरह ही काम कीजिए, और जब तक आप इस जॉब में हैं तब तक आपको बॉर्डर्ड लेबर की तरह ही काम करना है। ये कुछ फेलियर्स मैंने आपको इसके बताया।
अमित जी, ये जो अभी सरकार ने एक हेल्पलाइन चालू की है कि, और उनका कहना है कि 6 जून से पहले पहले आपको डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर्स जो है वहां पे मूव किया जाएगा, आपको लगता है उससे कुछ बेहतरी होगी, कुछ सुरक्षा का एक आपको लगेगा, महसूस होगी कि एक सुरक्षा का पैगाम आएगा आप तक?
सर, राहुल जी, शहीद राहुल जी, वो तहसील ऑफिस में थे, जिसके बिल्कुल बगल में ही एसडीएम का ऑफिस है, और वहां पे 24 घंटे वहां पे पुलिस की तैनाती होती है। उसके बीच में भी, हेडक्वार्टर पे भी उनको अपने टेबल पे मारा गया। तो हम सिक्योर कहाँ है हेडक्वार्टर्स पे भी? जी जबर से।
तो आपका कहने का मतलब है कि पहले सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है कि आपकी जान, योर लाइफ इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन एनीथिंग एल्स, एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू वांट टू मूव आउट। बट इन द फ्यूचर, इफ यू इन द फ्यूचर अगर हालात ठीक होंगे तो यू विल कम बैक एंड यू विल वर्क अगेन इन कश्मीर।
के सामने एक ही डिमांड रखी है कि जैसे हमारे डेलीगेशन वहां गया था, एलजी साहब से मिला था, तो वहां पे जो हमारे सुरक्षा सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर थे, सिक्योरिटी हेड थे वहां पे, उन्होंने खुद एक्सेप्ट किया कि हमें कश्मीर को टेरर फ्री बनाने में कम से कम 3 साल लगेंगे। तो हम भी वही 3 साल मांग रहे हैं कि आप ये 3 साल हमें दे दीजिए, हमें आउटसाइड वैली आप पोस्टिंग कर दीजिए और कीजिए उसको। हमारा एसआरओ 412 जो हमारी गीता कुरान जो हमारी सर्विस की है वो वही है, एसआरओ 412, उसको अमेंड कीजिए, उसमें ट्रांसफर पॉलिसी डालिए, उसमें प्रमोशन पॉलिसी को अमेंड कीजिए, और उसमें जो सिविल सर्विस रूल्स है वो क्लैरिफाई कीजिए कि हमारे पे कौन से कब कैसे लगेंगे। तो वही 3 साल हम उनसे मांग रहे हैं। हम तो कोई सूरज चांद तारे तो मांग नहीं रहे हैं, ये एक छोटी सी बात है। अगर वो वहां से बोल रहे हैं कि हमने एक बॉन्ड लिख के दिया है, तो एज पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, एज पर लेबर लॉज, वो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है। कहीं भी इंडिया में बॉन्ड एंटरटेन नहीं किया जाता है।
Major General Dhruv
जी
Kato,
सर।
this is a very important point. Do you think they are a victim of optics? They have signed a bond that they will be staying here. As you put it, that it gives a sense of normalcy. Perhaps that was done much earlier than needed, and they have become a victim of that strategy. They are here that gives out an impression that everything is normal. Kashmiri Pandits are back. They are starting their job. They are living here, but at what cost? At the cost of their life. They want to move out, but they can't do it. Now they are doing it because there is no other option left. But essentially, they have the condition is that they came to Kashmir to live here. That is why they were given the job.
Actually, what has happened is, when you said at the cost of the lives, no, I think it is far worse. You see, what is happening now is you're losing lives and you're losing credibility. Now, please take it from me. Credibility is more important than the life. Because when you lose credibility, you will lose many, many lives. But once you regain credibility, you will gain lives. This step has been taken, I think, a bit early. Right. One of the things which perhaps the state administration at the senior level has gone wrong is perhaps the faith in the local administration. What has happened over the last 4 to 5 decades is the entire bureaucracy has been compromised. That remains Kashmir's tragedy today. Today, I cannot trust any person working in the departments, in the government departments in Kashmir, because most of them owe their job to Mr. Gilani, who was the chairman of the Hurriyat conference. Gulani Saab used to give a chit and then people would be taken into government jobs. Now, all those people are beholden to Gilani and we are depending upon them to give justice to the people who have come here to work. I don't think it's going to work. You see, the topmost officer can do precious little when the staff below him are radicalized. Kashmiri society, I'm sorry to say, has been radicalized. It is not simply a question of one person or two persons. The 100% of the society has been radicalized, and the process of de-radicalization will take 10 to 15 years. You see, from the
Okay,
education syllabus, it has to be.
Amit wants to come in. Amit, you want to come in and say something?
जी जी सर, देखिए, हमें जब ये पैकेज हमारे को बोला गया था, अनाउंस किया गया था, तो हम तो बहुत खुश थे कि हम अपने घर जा रहे हैं, अपने वतन जा रहे हैं, मातृभूमि जा रहे हैं, और हमें वहां पे काम करने का, हमें अपनी कर्म भूमि फिर से मिल रही है। तो जब हम आए तो 2010 से लेकर अभी तक हम काम करते आ रहे थे, क्योंकि हमारे साथ कोई भी दुर्घटना नहीं घटी थी, कुछ भी नहीं हुआ था, कोई किलिंग नहीं हुई थी, तो हम अपनी सर्विसेज दे रहे थे। हमने आज तक अपनी सर्विस हमेशा जस्टिफाई की है। लेकिन अब टाइम वो आ गया है कि जब हम अपने ऑफिस में जाते हैं तो डर इस कदर है कि हम अपने सीट पे बैठे रहते हैं, तो हमारी एक नजर अपने कलम पे होती है और दूसरी नजर हमारे अपने दरवाजे पे होती है कि कौन सा बंदा कब आएगा और हमें शूट करके चला जाएगा। तो आप मुझे नहीं लगता है कि मैं अपनी जॉब को इस टाइम पे इस हालात में जस्टिफाई कर पाऊंगा।
Major General Dhruv Katoch, the point is that he's saying that they came here and they were working here. Situation was more or less normal, but it has suddenly escalated. That's an important point. And according to some reports, 18 Hindus, including Kashmiri Pandits, were killed after the abrogation of Article 370 on August 5, 2019. So now there is this, there's this spurt in target killing, and that has created those conditions where they feel they are not safe and they want to leave.
No, you see, what Amit says, I totally agree with him. I'm not trying to contradict what he's saying. I'm with him, because this is the thing with targeted killing. When you are just killing a person at random, it doesn't matter who that person is. It is important to kill a person to send a message to everybody else. Now, this form of targeted killing is taking place. So when the people who are working there want to leave, well, I see no reason why they should stay. They must leave. That is correct. Or the state should provide them security to ensure that nothing happens. Now, it cannot work that the state is not going to provide them that level of security, and we tell them don't leave also. That is not fair. I mean, who's going to risk his life? You lose your. Why are you going there? You're going there to preserve your way of life, to look after your family. So if you're going to be killed there, then what is the point of going? So, which is why I'm saying very strong measures are required now. The deterrent has to be given to three sets of people. One is Pakistan. Number two, within India, is the terrorist groups and their sympathizers. And the number three are all politicians, regardless of party affiliations, who are giving moral, verbal, or any other type of support to these organizations. They have to be treated like terrorists. And any government employee who is found to be supporting them, like when this person entered the bank, this information would have been given by somebody within the bank to the terrorists. It can't happen otherwise. Those people also must be treated as terrorists, and their properties must be confiscated. Once we put them down to that level, only then will the deterrence come. Otherwise, I'm afraid it'll carry on. Zafarji.
Okay, at this point, we are also joined by the National Conference spokesperson Ifra Jan. Welcome to the show, Ifra. We have been
Thank you.
discussing for the last 15 to 20 minutes the issue of Kashmiri Pandits and the sense of fear and panic that's gripped Kashmir Valley, forcing them to move out of Kashmir despite assurances by the government that their security will be taken care of. That has not happened. They have decided for now that they're stopping their protests in Kashmir, moving out to Jammu, and continuing their protests there. You belong to a principal political party of Jammu and Kashmir. It was in national conference time when most of these Kashmiri Pandits came from Jammu to Kashmir
Yes.
to do their job and to settle here. What has changed? What is this? What's this drastic change that's forcing Kashmiri Pandits to move out, and some of them call it another exodus?
Thank you, Zafar Saab, for inviting me to the show. The first thing I would want to say, to understand what exactly has changed, we need to slightly look at history. The last time we had a Kashmiri Pandit exodus, at that time, the BJP government wanted a governor in Jammu and Kashmir who's known to be a dictator sort of a governor. He had the kind of image he had was that he participated in mass demolitions of slums during the Indira Gandhi's tenure, and the state thought that they would use the KPS Gill method in influencing Jammu and Kashmir. It did not work, and we saw results. Then we had the National Conference government, and when National Conference used very smart diplomatic ways to deal with militancy, and not use the kind of ways that the BJP thinks will work. We saw the Kashmiri Pandits actually return back. The Kashmiri Pandits today, you seeing on the streets who want to go back, they came back during our tenure. And interestingly, eventually under the Prime Minister package scheme, which was devised by the then central government and Umar Abdullah Ghani, that scheme we eventually received 30,000 applications from Kashmiri Pandits who said that they want to return back to the valley. Imagine 30,000 Kashmiri Pandits at one point saying they want to return back to the valley. That was the kind of sense of security that a state government was able to give to these Kashmiri Pandits. And now, right now, when article abrogation happened, we were back to the Jagmohan days where the state thought that using the same old dictator ways would actually be the solution to it, and turns out it is not the solution to a law and order situation, to
No,
a terrorism situation,
but
to a
what
situation where
exactly?
nothing is black and white.
No, but Ifra, what exactly did the state do to change the situation on the ground? There were anti-militancy operations happening that time. They are happening now also. What exactly has changed? What is the trigger that Kashmiri Pandits are forced to move out? Okay, we seem to have some problem with the line there. But
You see, if
yeah,
I've heard
yes,
your question
yes,
right,
yes, yes, yes.
if I've heard your question right, you're saying what exactly did this?
Yeah.
Yes. If I've heard your question right, you said what exactly did the state do to
Mm.
contain the things? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So you see, there are a number of things the state did. For a start, it did not muzzle the press freedom. Everybody was allowed to speak, and only when people were allowed to speak did we reach a democratic consensus.
Okay, we seem to have some problem with the line with Ifra, but we'll try and get back to her. But Major General Dhruv Katoch, the point that she's raising is that the policies of the state have really created this situation on the ground that has, sort of escalated the situation in a way, forcing Kashmiri Pandits to move out. That is one aspect of it.
No, actually, I don't agree with her comments at all, and I'll give you my reasoning why. And I'm going to give you non-political reasons. I don't want to get into a slanging match between one political party and the other. That is not the aim at all. You see, the first point, Governor Jagmohan came to the state on 19 January 1990. The problem in Kashmir had started many months before that. So when the exodus, when the genocide started, Jagmohan, that was the day he came in. That means the causative factors for the genocide was the government which was existing in Jammu and Kashmir at that time, and that government happened to be the National Conference government headed by the Abdullahs. So they are totally and squarely responsible for what has happened. In the center, it was the Janata Party government. It was the Janata Party
Yes,
government, and they have to
yes,
take responsibility for what happened in the center. So let us
yes.
get that aspect
Of
clear.
course, the
Now,
BJP was a part of that,
yeah, the
supporting that.
BJP was part of it. The question is,
Yeah,
I want to put the facts correctly as to where
yeah,
does the responsibility lie. The responsibility lies with the state and also with the center, in that order. Now,
yeah.
why has it taken place now? Please take it from me. The situation had gone out of hand for Pakistan. I'm telling you, as a military professional, they were totally flummoxed because they didn't know how to continue with the insurgency in Kashmir. They were losing the plot. In fact, they have lost the plot. And then they came up with this: let us target the innocent civilians. And here, I think where the government has gone wrong is to have called in normalcy a bit too early, because we were heading towards normalcy. That is a great thing which has happened. We were heading towards normalcy, but it has been called in, I think, a bit too early. And because of that, these people have come in. It's a small group. You just have to kill a few people. How many people have been killed? Thousands haven't been killed. Just a few people have been killed. But see the fear it has been created, because, as Amit will say, we don't know who's going to be targeted next. When I go to the office, I don't know if I'm going to be targeted. Now, this is what the play on the mind has been, which is the important factor. So now we have to get back to the drawing board and see how this is to be stopped. Action will have to be, even if we have to go to war with Pakistan, so be it. But it has to stop. And internally, any person giving support, regardless of political affiliations, they have to be taken in and treated as terrorists and sorted out accordingly. Otherwise, that deterrence is not going to be there. And amongst the terrorists and their families, the deterrence has to be imposed there again. Now, these are not very nice solutions. I know they're not nice democratic solutions, but we are not operating in a very safe world. So hard facts require hard solutions. And I think for the next 6 months to 8 months, they will have to go that way. Otherwise, we are in for very serious trouble. Zafar.
Right, right. Last word to you, Amit. What you are in touch with the administration, with the authorities? What are they telling you as you are moving out? Of course, you must be speaking to them.
जी जी वो हमेशा यही बोल रहे हैं कि आप वैली छोड़ के मत जाइए, आप अपनी सर्विसेज यहाँ पे कीजिए, और आप हम आपको हेड क्वार्टर्स पे आपको पोस्टिंग देंगे। लेकिन वो कहीं पे सेटिस्फैक्टरी आंसर नहीं है उनकी तरफ से। हम वो सेटिस्फाई नहीं कर पा रहे हमारे को। हम उनसे सिर्फ कुछ ही डिमांड्स कर रहे हैं कि हम जैसे 90 में हम लोग यहाँ से निकले थे, हमारे फादर्स निकले थे, तो उस टाइम पे भी हम लोग बहुत अच्छे पोस्ट पे थे। हमारे जितने भी मेरे अंकल वगैरह फादर जितने भी उस टाइम के जनरेशन में थे, तो सब अच्छे पोस्ट पे थे। उस टाइम पे भी उन्होंने चूज किया अपनी लाइफ को, अपने ऑनर को। तो हम भी सेम वही कर रहे हैं। इस टाइम पे भी जिंदगी से जान है तो जहान है। तो हम उनसे यही बोल रहे हैं कि आप हमें यहाँ से लोकेट कीजिए, आप हमें कहीं भी भेज दीजिए अदर देन वैली। आप हमें मणिपुर, मिजोरम, नागालैंड, इंडिया के किसी भी कोने में भेज दीजिए, हम जाने के लिए तैयार हैं। इवन आप हमें किसी भी स्टेट के पे बर्डन मत रखिए। आपके पास सेंट्रल डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, उनमें हमारे को आप पोस्टिंग दे दीजिए फॉर टाइम बिंग 2 to 3 years, जो हम अपनी सर्विसेज भी दे पाए, हम कंट्री में डेवलपमेंट में अपना रोल भी प्ले करें। और हाँ, 82 डिपार्टमेंट हैं, जो हमारे रविंद्र रैना जी ने भी कहा था जब वो हमारे से मिलने आए थे, तो उनने भी यही बोला था कि हमारे पास J&K में 82 सेंट्रल डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, तो वो इसलिए हमें वहां पे पोस्ट कर सकते हैं। लेकिन मुझे ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि हमारे LG हमारे स्टेप क्यों नहीं उठा पा रही है। ये मैं फिर से रिपीट करूंगा, हम कोई चांद तारे तो न मांग नहीं रहे हैं। 90 में भी हम लोग यहाँ से गए थे, हमारे फादर्स, हम उस टाइम के जो जनरेशन में जो एम्प्लॉइज थे, उनको माइग्रेंट पे दिया गया, उनने तो ड्यूटीज भी नहीं दी थी उस टाइम पे। हम तो वैसा बोल ही नहीं रहे, हम तो बोल रहे कि हम अपनी सर्विसेज देंगे। तो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि क्यों नहीं गवर्नमेंट हमारी बात सुन पा रही है। मैं इसमें थोड़ा
I think that that's a very valid point. Why your voices are not being heard? You say that life and honor are the priority for everybody and for Kashmiri Pandits. Uh, you know, uh, it's a tough time. Most of them are leaving Kashmir, have already left, or are already on the way of leaving. That's what we saw in Budgam and in Mutton. Despite the fact that government is trying to tell you to stay on and they are providing the security, but on the ground the situation is that Kashmiri Pandits have already left or are in the process of leaving. That brings us to the end of today's discussion. Thanks to our panel for joining us, and thanks to all our viewers. Thank you so much.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.